All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Full Circle. We're here for some round of 16 predictions, but first off, some of the group stage recap. I'm Dio, joined by Dada, Hubba Wubba, Lighten, and Sad Shiba. Welcome to Lighten for the first time, also.
Hey, glad to be here, everyone. It's been a while. As you can see, I'm already in the suit. I have a few surprises. Hey, Dada, come on. But yeah,
So,
I'm
yeah.
glad now. I went from homeless to now slightly dripped.
Oh, let's go.
oh my
Dada
god.
Dada's also chill with the casual t-shirt. I love it, bro.
Yeah,
Chills out.
I walked home from work in this outfit, so I
I'm
didn't bother changing.
I may or may not have woken up like 20 minutes ago.
Yo,
You
good
gotta have a good
morning,
snooze.
bro.
Woken
Good
up, bro?
morning.
It's
Oh,
later
no.
for you than it is for me.
A little bit of a nap. I can't bum out. Like,
No,
it's not
okay,
tough,
okay. So I get it. Afternoon siesta. I understand. All right.
A little lazy Friday.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on to talking about the group stage here for the group stage recap. We're gonna go with contender groups first, and then move into the challenger groups. Just as a quick reminder for anyone who may have forgotten, group stage saw the top 8 this year. Format changed this year for OWC. First of all, top 8 from qualifiers just got a bye straight to round of 16 winners bracket. And then there was a group stage with seeds 9 through 24 all in groups together, and seeds 25 to 40 all in groups together. These are seeds 25 to 40, the contender groups, and they faced elimination in the first round of the tournament. The top 2 moved on to losers bracket, and the bottom 2 were just straight up eliminated. We're going to go kind of down the line here and just start off with Group E. Taiwan, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Denmark, but swap the middle 2 there for the order. Malaysia beating out Denmark in the first match of the group and also the only upset of the group.
Yeah,
RIP the Death
no
Dream.
surprises there. Yeah, no surprises in the sense that like the Malaysian team was just a little bit more well-rounded. I think Def was basically like the standout performer for Vietnam by a little bit, and Taiwan dominated the group. Malaysia had the second best time. Like Vietnam fell a little bit short, and Denmark had no chance. Like basically as predicted by a lot of people, I think Malaysia having essentially like a 1 seed upset. It's like a 32-33, and that's
Yeah.
basically the only thing that happened of relevance in the group besides from like the cardboard results. So
Yep, I think it might be Vietnam's loss might have been due to nerfs because Malaysia's team was just a lot more experienced in tournament setting. Definitely strong showing though, because when they had to play against Denmark on a match on Friday, on the second week, they did not have those aforementioned nerves because there was no pressure and they could actually perform and they did really well. So there's a little bit of that element of nerves, but nonetheless, Vietnam, that heartbroken loss to Malaysia early on, definitely proving to be something that stung them and something that made them not come out of the groups, but nonetheless a good showing from them.
Yeah, not much else I can say. I think for me, Taiwan were surprisingly dominant. I was expecting them to be in the top 2, but for them to be this strong generally as a roster, especially with how many rookies that they have coming into this, and players who generally are a little less proven than some of the returning veterans that we know about, like Ryza, for example. It's good to see Taiwan honestly look really, really strong, consistent all around, even if they have some good carry players. I'm a bit sad that we couldn't see Vietnam make a dark horse running bracket, but maybe next time, because Def did still do as well, as I think many people expected.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Denmark here. I know a lot of people kind of discounted them a little bit, and definitely like they were the bottom team in the group, right? They did get last. They did go 0-3, but they still actually managed to take 3 points off of Vietnam, which. Vietnam had a 3-5 loss to Malaysia, so the power rankings there I think are closer than a lot of people give credit for. Between the bottom 3 teams in this group, whereas Taiwan just kind of slammed everybody in this one. So I think the bottom 3 teams in this group were, of course, very close, all beating each other 5-3 basically. And then Taiwan is just kind of a league ahead. We can kind of move kind of quickly through this, actually, if we don't have too much else to talk about. Group F, however, was this is a group that was almost exactly according to seeding. Turkey, Argentina, Belgium, and Uruguay in this group. Turkey, the first seed out to basically no one's surprise, kind of like Taiwan, just slammed the group 5-1 all 3 matches. And then the rest of the group was kind of just up in the air. I think the real expectation here was for Argentina to also dominate the group a little bit. And they did go 2-1, but they had almost lost in tiebreaker to Uruguay. And Uruguay, despite going 0-3, had 2 tiebreaker losses to Belgium and Argentina. They were 2 maps away from going 2-1 in this group, and actually getting out as the second seed versus losing the group in 4th place 0-3.
Yeah, the matched point differentials here for Belgium and Uruguay is really interesting, close tied story for this group. I mean, that Belgium-Uruguay match was just incredible. That tiebreaker came down to the wire, and Belgium got their one. They got their qualification. They got their one. Sort of the hero story of this group was Belgium finally getting their OWC victory and Turkey looking so dominant as anticipated.
Yeah, but on top of that, with the way that Turkey's performance went, you gotta give shout outs to Raikaho, just looking so wonderful throughout all these matches, putting up stellar performances of seeing, I think S-ing Nomad 2 and then seeing it with a single 100 on the second run. Just a lot of consistency from that man and also just a lot of really good scores. Obviously, the team was always there. Orkai, Mary, everyone helped significantly, and they dropped only 3 maps throughout the entire group, which is really something to note here. A good performance from them, but also speaking about other teams, you take Uruguay, just so close to finally taking that win, but unfortunately, not this iteration, not this OWC, probably next year. So better luck to them. It is nice. It was nice to see them. So. Yeah, I think they are capable of showing a much better showing next time in the next OWC.
Yeah, I was gonna say Uruguay, despite being 4th, was surprisingly a close team that definitely could have made it up there. I mean, having lost 2 tiebreakers must have been devastating. It could have been their first win in OWC history, from what I remember, unless they did one from a very
would have been
long
the
time
first.
ago. Yeah, I mean that's the fact that they were 1 map away in 2 different instances against very strong teams in the group like Argentina and a Belgium who also were in that position to get that first win in OWC history was a bit of a shame for Uruguay that they were cut short despite definitely being capable of making it out there, I'd say.
They're gonna see that tiebreaker in their nightmares. Like
Yeah.
being 1 map short to actually make it to round 16. Like I guess 2 maps, but like the 1 map repeated twice is kind of
That's
a nightmare
rough.
scenario. But proud of everyone in this group. Really, like Uruguay, like played their hardest, did really well. Belgium finally getting their first win since literally forever. Argentina getting out of groups, pretty good. I mean, for a format that only really has like 32 teams getting out of groups, I think Argentina making it out of groups is pretty cool. And then Turkey just dominating. Like, actually never looked anywhere like near threatened. This Turkish team looks like really, really solid.
I wanted to add like one more quick thing. The fact that Uruguay lost their tiebreaker against Argentina by 19k on the tiebreaker is probably one of the most saddest chokes I've ever seen. And from what I remember from looking at the match, it was from a single miss at the very end of the map by one of the higher performing players. I believe in either Rebo or Plux. One of those two missed very, very late into the map that could have been the make or break. The fact that even at that stage, that was how you lose your odds around 16 is so tragic, man. But I hope that doesn't like beat their spirits too much. But yeah, outside from that, Turkey doing what Turkey does best in a group like this. Raiko power is strong. I love Raiko as a player, and I hope Turkey go far in round 16.
Now for the elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room. Actually, before we go there, quick shout out to Belgium, because we've talked a lot about Uruguay, not too much about Belgium. This is their first win, I believe, ever. Also, unless they got a group stage win in 2013 13, but I don't think they did. I believe I did take a look at their past history before, and this should be their first win ever as well. So just more reasons to love the group stage format change, because this is the first time they've qualified since 2019, and now they also get a win, which is awesome.
It gives teams a lot more pride. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's very cool.
A lot more motivation too.
Into Group G, where the real unfortunate group where Ukraine, despite being projected to be probably the best team in this group, had rolling blackouts because of Russia's war on Ukraine. And so their players were basically just never able to play together. And even when they were able to, field a full team for their matches, a lot of their players were playing with technical difficulties at the same time. So they just had a terrible group, basically, and got really unlucky with the timing of it. So just kind of an unfortunate reality for Ukraine. That means that based on the projections from beforehand, Kazakhstan, number 1 in the group, actually came true. If you want to take it away, Lighten.
Yes, I would be glad to. So I brought myself a nice little Kazakhstan tie to glaze my voice even further, which I'm gonna be putting on as like my clown makeup. But nonetheless, while I put it on, because I need to take off my headphones, I might have to talk about just how well the boys did. I'm really proud of them. A lot of work has been done and a really good showings on really good showings on a lot of maps, just dropping 4 points and 3 of them to Portugal. I do want to shout out all of the teams because the vibes from both Peru, both Portugal, and Ukraine were immaculate. I think the team in general had a lot of fun. Kazakhstan had a lot of fun playing with all of those teams, and it was really wholesome. Obviously, the situation that happened to Ukraine needs to be mentioned. It's really tragic there, but well, it really sucks because first of all, I think the One Loves had to play from a PC club, and Dench was not present for the Kazakhstan match. I've already talked to a few of those players, and yeah, just want to give a quick shout out. I wish we could play a match with Ukraine playing to their full potential. That would have been an absolute cinema of a match. But other than that, every other team, good performances, had a lot of fun. And yeah, Kazakhstan, really proud of the boys.
Yeah, and I also want to bring mention to Peru in this group, beating out Portugal 5-3 and really being really wearing their strengths on their sleeve. This is a team that is so strong on the tech and control maps, as well as just having Arnold to round out any pick that hasn't been pulled through yet. I am very proud of the boys there. They had both 5 and 7 on the Nomad 4, I believe, for that tech consistency as well. Just really strong picks from them. Got their point against Kazakhstan as well, a team that really just ran this group. Portugal getting their win against Ukraine was also a great sight to see, but Peru, man, what a underdog story, making it through despite the lower qualifier seeding this time around, still making it into the main stages of the tournament.
Yeah.
Assuming that Ukraine didn't play this group, which it makes a little bit of sense if you just assume that they were too affected to end up playing any matches and just kind of got as many points as they could, but it wasn't really meant to be.
Pretty much what
I
happened.
think obviously the decider was Peru Portugal, and Peru getting those 5 points versus Portugal was just something that I don't think anybody saw coming. I think maybe if you saw Peru getting out of this group, first of all, you're a liar. It was very unexpected, and you would have had to know the Ukraine situation beforehand because
I had
theory,
advanced
that
Russian
matchup
military
was-
intelligence, so I knew Peru would get out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Damn.
But yeah, Peru Portugal ended up being the crucial match, and I think if you just knew that beforehand, I think knowing Ukraine is out of the group and Peru Portugal is a direct matchup that's deciding the qualification. I think maybe you see that Peru can win that match, and I think they did really well. I think they had a a great time, like properly navigating that match. I think they had really good scores. Obviously, Arnold, I think, ended up being the best performer in the entirety of group stage, and like playing every map because Peru needs it. Peru needs Arnold to play every map, doesn't matter which. And Arnold just like stepping up immensely and getting like so many like FCs and good scores. I think it was really nice to see. He essentially like he essentially solo carried Peru out of this group, even like despite the circumstances, which was very impressive. And sucks for Portugal. I mean, I guess if you consider Ukraine not being in the group, you had two close matches of 5-3. So it really sucks for like a team that hasn't qualified in a while. But I think they can hang their hat on their performance. I feel it was pretty good. Obviously, I don't think if you give Portugal the chance to qualify to OWC and also like make a good showing, I think everyone would take it before the tournament started. And then Kazakhstan just lost the group. Like Kamenchik is so good. Everybody else is like doing a solid work. Like it's just good. I mean, Kazakhstan showed no real slip ups aside from a little bit of a scare versus Portugal, but yeah, it was nice.
I got nothing else really to add. I think it's obvious. It's the same for everyone. Where like the Ukraine situation is really sad and tragic. I always feel for them. I remember talking to some of the players about how excited they were for this OWC coming up, and to have that robbed away from them for such like unfair circumstances is so trash. It's so horrible. So I wish the best for them next year, especially. I hope this doesn't like discourage them, and hopefully next year they can come back for force and not have that BS ruin their runs, because it really does suck. But yeah, aside from that, the usual what everyone else has said. Alka Kazakhstan, Arnold is Faker, Portugal had a good first win. They got their one, and yeah, so for that,
Yeah,
at least there's
shout
something.
outs to Arnold having like the best stats in the entire group stage. And I think Kamenchik was
It's
also
crazy,
third.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just an insane shooting from both Arnold and Kamenchik.
Yeah, I would also want to mention just very quickly, if you're not aware of the commentary incident, go watch the VOD for the deciding match of this group in Portugal.
I don't have my
Peru.
honey. I don't have my honey, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have it right now.
You
It
should go watch the
sounds
VOD,
terrible.
guys.
Come on, man.
Nothing
You
happened.
had to keep the honey.
Organic honey.
Rolls organic honey.
I could run downstairs and grab it, but I might.
No, we're good. I don't think we need it, bro. Okay.
Hey, look! I got a replacement. I got a McDonald's brownie. I got a McDonald's UK brownie.
True. Okay.
That's the replacement.
That's always good. Okay, on to Group H. This one was another one. There was a lot of like split opinions, mostly between Hong Kong and Singapore getting out. A lot of people had Japan getting out. About 80% of people on Pick'ems had Japan getting out, which still means like 20% of people thought Japan were not top 2 in this group, which for a team that has been really successful like this in the past is still a lot of people. They still were the favorites though, and they did still get out of this group. 3-0 at that. Every group in the contenders was 3-0. From there, the deciding match was just Singapore versus Hong Kong, and very much like Group F, there were 2 tiebreakers. For this time, the 1 and 2 team, Hong Kong losing tiebreaker to Singapore, winning tiebreaker versus Greece. So again, Hong Kong, 1 map from getting out of this group, but instead they go from, what were they last year, top 12 down to 33rd to 40th, which is a really tough drop.
This hurts me so much because I feel like Hong Kong individually could have done so much better. Like it's Misha, for me at least, it just looked like Misha Awa and friends. Like F2X and Hibiki had the occasional like good scores to join in with him, but it literally just it felt like you would expect Hong Kong to do better with the members that you have on this roster. It might be a bit critical, and I know I was the one saying how, hey, look, I don't think they're going to be that good. Losing MCY and Max Biro and Suwagi all 3 is so devastating. But I was at least thinking that with Misha, F2X, and Hibiki, they could make it out of the groups in pretty comfortable style. So I'm disappointed, unfortunately. I really thought Hong Kong would do better in this group. And it does sting that they lost on tiebreaker to 2 of those teams. But I still think they should have won those games. Be it by tiebreaker or be it by stomp. I think Hong Kong should have played stronger. I think just in general, the individual, the general team-wide consistency wasn't there. But I really hope that people still look at Misha Awa and think, damn, that guy is cracked. Because even then, holy crap, he was so good. He was so good. He was ridiculous.
Yep. Just basically looking at how Misha Awa was playing the maps, he was just basically farming match cost for almost all of his maps. A formidable opponent nonetheless, but oh well. Hong Kong, sadly, just a step to, basically a step outside from that sweet victory over Singapore. That obviously tiebreaker is going to sting them a lot. They did manage to squeeze out a win against Greece, even if Greece were not having a good day, especially with the schedule hell. I think a few of their players were in like Japan, a few were in NA, so definitely something to consider. But still, even then, Greece did manage to take 4 maps from Hong Kong and forcing them to play the tiebreaker, and Misha Awa was just omnipresent, playing every single map and playing every single map to the highest degree. So shout outs to Misha Awa and obviously Japan. Such a strong showing from them. Obviously dropping a few maps here and there, but still looking confident.
It's
Yeah.
no, okay. It's odd because even for a pool that was as quote unquote easy as this one was, where we had very high average scores, we had very low amounts of like teams just completely being unable to play certain maps. I think Hong Kong couldn't close lineups for about like 3 or 4 maps, and like one of them is a ban, sure, but then you have like 3 others. And just kind of looking at their overall performance, they have 4 players in the bottom 50, which kind of explains why they didn't make it out of this group. Like Misha Awa was top 4, F2X was top 30. So like when you have 2 great performances like that, you would expect at least to get out of groups, or to at least like, as Hong Kong did get very close to it, but like it was just not, like they were so easy to strategize against. It felt like if you have a team like Greece getting 4 points against you, I think it's pretty easy to see that you're not like, no offense to Greece obviously, but you're not like solid enough roster on most maps to actually get get any easy like wins. Like their only win was on tiebreaker. It makes it feel like every pick you're like so far behind because you're just like being played off of your weaknesses like way too much. And I mean like they had a good, like a solid roster on like the maps that they could like solo carry or double carry, have both the players in the lobby and like properly firing on all cylinders, but it really didn't like it didn't actually like look that good ever. I feel like if you just like eye tested their group stage performance, it didn't really like properly like come to the standard that we kind of expected from Hong Kong. I think Japan was a very welcome surprise. I think even if like most people predicted them to get out of the group, I think getting out of the group so decisively was a welcome surprise. And then Singapore, honestly, Singapore is just like, they're never out. Like every single OWC is just Singapore, Singapore, Singapore. Like they're coming around at 16 and they're coming to steal our points, man.
They're just so consistent every single OWC, just showing up when they need on the lowest Rs and then suddenly not being able to win a match. But maybe this time they will be able to in the bracket. So good luck to Singapore, good luck to Japan. Definitely expect a lot from both of these teams.
Yeah, I think especially in the case of Japan, it's a lot less of, you know, them being if you will consult the chart from last week, sir, they just have a lot of people who are generally really good, and in the qualifiers they seem to struggle with the scaling of the non-mechanical maps, but in group stage the non-mechanics maps were easy enough that they could also just play those really well. They just played everything really well and got out, which did not happen for some of these other teams, unfortunately. Did happen for pretty much all of our challenger teams, though, as we switch over to talking about the quote-unquote winners bracket in the group stage here. Top 2 from these teams, from all these groups, got into the winners bracket. Bottom 2 join those teams that we already talked about from the contenders down in the losers bracket. And we'll once again just go top to bottom because honestly, it presents a pretty good order. Starting with Group A for the challengers, China, Norway, Austria, Thailand. You can read them off, and that's your seeding, that's your results. This match was the most boring and had literally 0 upsets. The only group with not a single upset match.
Dude, it's so funny. China was #1 performer. Norway was #2 performer. Like, that is gutting
crazy.
if you're Norway. You, like,
Yeah.
Norway 5-0'd, and then lost. Like, they were one of the few teams, like, in point differential, like, they got, like, 5 points against. That was, like, one of the lowest. It just so happened that it was all in one match, so they didn't come out unscathed. Meanwhile, China, like, just looked dominant. I mean, everyone expected it, I think. Just, they're scary. They were scary. If you drew them in your team, like, your group, that, like, you were scared. And yeah, like, good showings from Austria. I think Austria was pretty impressive as well, like, in the limited context that they got. And Thailand also didn't make a fool out of themselves. I think they also had competitive matches against Austria, and they didn't play badly. It's just that they happened to have Hitler and Stalin on their group, so.
Oh my god.
They really did.
I mean,
They really did, though.
Okay,
Unfortunately for
okay,
Austria and
okay.
Thailand, they really did.
You nailed it.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
okay, I said this like I said this after like the qualifier results were there. China were too good of a team to be in groups. They are too good of a team to be in groups. They are so good and so consistent. I think they should have been in Legends category. Like maybe instead of them, I think Russia probably would have been a more fitting team to be there over China. I think China were just so good on paper, in my mind at least. If it's fair to disagree, it might be based for some.
I think the problem is just that there's only 8 buy slots instead of 9, because realistically China is better than every other team in the group stage, but like Russia would probably also be the exact same.
I mean, I wouldn't say they would be as dominant. I don't think they'd be as dominant in my mind. I think China are just so consistent as all around as a team, especially considering how much improvement of the returning rookies that they have, on top of just how good their core already is. I would have thought they'd be better, and they proved it. They completely destroyed the entire group stage.
Yeah, Russia, not just Russia, sorry, China on low SR is just insanely scary because, like, if you take into consideration, like, the qualifier seedings, I think Russia showed a pretty good showing, but yeah, it's just the way that the qualifier seedings work, but still, China just looking so dominant, and if you look at Group A, if you're Austria or you're Thailand, honestly, I would just run away. Like, this looks so scary. Like, imagine playing both China and Norway in the same group, and even then, they showed a pretty good performance. They took 3 points off, like Austria. They took 3 points off of China. That's a really good showing. So shout outs to them. Shout outs to Austria. But sadly, I think their fate was sealed as they were drawn into this group, because China and Norway, that is just an absolute horror fest.
I think I want to add one more thing. I thought it was really I felt really bad for Austria when I saw their groups. It's so funny because New Zealand, who are first in their group, were 1 seed different, 1 seed above Austria, who ended up, being third in their group and losing out on winners bracket. I just think that's so insane how there's a 1 seed difference and one goes to winners and the other goes to losers in third, which it's such a crazy gap, and that's part of why you have China and Norway, who are so stupid strong in the same group. It is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. One seed means the difference between two places in your group, right? Like not just getting into winners, but getting into winners as the better seed with a matchup versus the in theory easier team, right?
Yeah.
In theory.
It just
In
feels
theory.
like with the double sweep from Norway versus China losing the points to everyone else, it feels like there is a very clear hole in China's game, and that's a little bit of the reading. That's like the main pick that they lost against both Austria and Thailand, with an extra hard rock thrown in between. I feel as though I mean that may be a little bit more exploitable in the groups, but and Norway has that hole filled out, which is going to make their match this weekend very interesting against Canada. But China definitely a little bit worrisome, that little hole in their game. Just wanted to point that out.
I'm not scared. I believe in China. I believe in Chinese team. I believe in Crystal and the Lolos, the Lolol gang. They got it. They got it.
Haven't talked much about some of the players on these teams. Norway, I just want to point out, like you have some pretty ridiculous performances. Neneric playing 17 of 17 maps, averaging 820k. You have Paper Candle playing 12 of 17, averaging 823k. Just like from the team statistics, right? Both these teams averaged over 3.2 million, which is like an average map for them. Basically, just looked like a 4-way 800k, which is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Even then, like you go down to Thailand and Austria. They both averaged about 2.9 mil. That's an average like 4-way 725k on this group stage. It's very, very strong. A lot of very, very good scores for Lisberry and Kadama on the side of Thailand, as well as Chess. A lot of scores, very good scores for Z10A and Fedora Goose on Austria. And then China is really... It's Crystal and two of the Lolols this year. It's David and Milk Tea. Kurumi kind of falling by the wayside a little bit, not as active this year. So it's really those three that are forming the core roster this year for China.
Kurumi didn't play last year, did he?
He did.
I think he did. He did.
Oh, he did play.
And even
Okay.
then, I think both Milk Tea and DBQ were like the main
Yeah.
carry potential off like the Lolos, because I
Milk
think
Tea is-
Kurumi
Milk
was not
Tea is
as
insane.
active. Yeah, Milk Tea was
Yeah.
insane. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
All
else
right.
about this group?
That will be it for this group. Let's go ahead and just move on to
Unlucky
Group B.
Thailand.
Yeah, unlucky Thailand.
Unlucky Thailand.
And Austria too.
And Austria.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it's
so
a tough
sorry.
group. It's a tough group. But look, somebody
shout
got to
out.
get paired with China and Norway. On to Group B, where we had
Schizo
a great surprise and then a predictable disappointment, I will say, for this group. The great surprise, of course, New Zealand, 3-0 in this group. The predictable disappointment, despite being tied for second place, Indonesia still fourth place in the group. How does it always happen year after year, bro? Like, they're actually tied. They're actually tied this year. They still gotta win. They beat Finland this year, and then they're still in last. How does it happen every year? I don't understand.
I don't know. I
Poor
thought you were gonna
Indonesia,
say-
man. Like,
I
I
don't
actually
know
just feel
what
bad.
the
I actually just feel
thing is.
bad.
Like, do you remember back in the day when we would always glaze Indo and be like, yeah, these guys are all like god tier 3-digit tournament players and 4-digit tournament player
Dude,
legends. Like, these guys are insane.
2021 Indonesia incident.
And
People
they
talk
were-
about the
and they
Dio
were
Chile
actually
incident. They don't
good.
remember the Dio Indonesia incident.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
The
This
thing
team
is-
was actually
the
the
thing is,
flop. It's so sad. I wish they
when we
were better.
glazed them, they were actually good at the start, and then they just fell off a cliff. And I'm so sad because I liked the Indo core. I liked them.
Yeah.
And now they're falling again, man. Please come back to Prime Indo, please. I miss you. I miss you upsetting super strong teams in early stage. Please come back.
Yeah, I mean 7th, 8th in 2020, and then like they had a rough year in 2021, and then 2022 9th, 12th, 2023 top 16, 2024 top 24. It's just going down one tier every year, bro.
For
Please.
most songs, bro.
Yeah.
The market's crashing.
Hey, yo,
Oh well.
just a I have to address the elephant in the room in my room, okay? I'm sorry, New Zealand. I didn't realize y'all were like the second
Yeah.
coming. So
I told you. I
My
told you
bad.
this. You didn't believe me. Nobody believed
bad,
me. I
my
had
bad,
them
my
I
bad.
put them first in my group.
I put
like
them
when I was doing
first.
pickups, I put
was
them
not
first.
familiar with your game. I was not familiar with your game.
Yeah, I knew New Zealand core, man.
but no,
Fusion, Emilba,
it's actually
Psycho. I love
crazy.
those guys.
It's crazy how wrong I got this group because I said essentially the opposite. I was like, everybody's gonna go 2-1 except for New Zealand. Like, oops, my
I mean,
bad.
I would say even with that, although they did have a super strong main core, it was really Kyujin who was the big boss of this team. I mean, you have Saiku and Emilbus who go a little bit further down, around 23rd to 30th. And if you're considering like group winning cores, I wouldn't assume that to be too high of a placement, despite still being relatively high. But Kyujin was insanely good, and I think generally speaking, they were just consistent enough. I was surprised to see Romania play better and to see Finland play worse. I know I'm a bit of a Finland glazer, but I thought they would make out of this group convincingly, at least for me. But I don't know.
I personally expected a little more from Romania. I think they had, I mean, they still got second. I would just expect for them to like go 2-1 instead of 1-2. But still,
They got second because they had to tiebreak the tiebreaker by seeding. So the only reason they're actually second is because the secondary tiebreaker is seeding. If it were head to head, they're third place in losers bracket, and Finland.
I know this
out.
was like a controversial thing. Like I saw people
Yeah.
complaining about this on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like it's an inevitable thing. Like people are going to be upset when they get screwed over by it. I feel for Finland.
I will be like for real. If you're Finnish, you're pissed at Indonesia just as much as us for like underperforming. Because you saw that match live. You were like, "Holy crap! Indonesia got the first point. All they need to do is get one more.
Yeah, true.
Please
True.
get one more. Please, Indonesia. I need this. I'm kind of almost.
I'm kind of.
Oh my God.
I'm kind of winnerless, bro. I'm kind of winner bracketless, bro.
Yeah, unlucky.
oh my god, unlucky.
It
Although
what it is.
I will say the Finland loss, as tragic as it is, Romania still topped out in terms of team performance in this group, even over New Zealand on average. 3.1 million average from Romania, New Zealand in the 8th, Finland in the 9th. So they're all right back to back on each other. I think Romania is going to fare better in the winners bracket than Finland would have, as an inevitability if it's any consolation for Finland, but still you hate to see it that it was decided by the seeding.
I had a really interesting time watching this group. I really did think Romania would do better. I'm kind of just disappointed that they went 1-2. I really thought that they would have a better time in this group. I did think that Finland would get third. The fact that they almost got out in winners bracket is crazy. So it's a very weird group, and there will be people who think that the secondary tiebreaker was wrong. Some people who think that it's like okay, but don't have I think it's okay, but I don't have a particularly strong opinion on it.
I don't know. You could find different ways around it, but I think I think you're fair to accept it as like a necessary evil where it sucks, but there isn't really that many better ways to deal with it, and I think that's fair. You know, if you int your qualifiers, then you deserve to, in a way, have that be the repercussion if you don't play well in your qualifier. But at the same time, you could see other things behind that. And at the end of the day, like if you struggle so much at qualifier level, how far are you really going to go? Where you make out groups in round of 16? That's another point you can make with that too. But yeah, there are other ways you can handle it, but that's just how the cake crumbles. And at least they're not out. They can still have a crazy lower bracket run if they really want to pull up some upsets, you know? So it's not the worst thing.
All right. And that can bring us into Group C. Getting into the last two groups here and some more really interesting ones, this time with a three-way tie for first place between Chile, France, Spain, and Italy. Despite there being a three-way tie for first place, it is still actually just the seeding order that the group comes out in. And this time there's no fancy, secondary tiebreakers. It's just by point differential. Chile, getting the top seed out of the group, France getting second seed, Spain getting third. I think the big elephant in the room, there's a few things to talk about in this group. First off, Italy 0-15 in
What
group
the hell
stage
happened to Italy?
is
What the hell
really
happened to them?
sad. France finally actually having a good early stage team and not choking and then crashing and burning and mental booming is awesome. France is finally, in winner's bracket after the first round and doing well. They've lost how many round of 32 matchups in the last few years? This is very good for them. Spain winning both their first and second match since 2016 and against the group leader. And then Chile, despite losing that Spain match in tiebreaker, was still the number 4 overall team in the group stage entirely. So it's not even like Chile played poorly. Spain just popped off that one match and got the win. So this group was all over the place. This was a really fun group.
Oh yeah. With that Chile loss to Spain, I mean, it came down to the mechanics players in that matchup. Chile missing their 2 main speed guys, Chile missing their 2 main speed guys, Spain being the mechanics team of this group. It really just paid dividends for that matchup and this tiebreaker also being pretty Spain favored comparatively. But Italy, you'd hate to see it. This team, I mean, their motivations going into this next matchup against Turkey this weekend, I am scared to see, because momentums are completely opposite between those 2 teams, and they are all over the place at the moment. France, I am excited to see. I think they have really found their footing this year. And, I mean, still a long road, but I'm really, really excited to see the turnout for this group.
Yep, I gotta agree with that. First of all, France surprising basically all of us. They have been a massive flop in round of 32 for years and years to come.
I was not
Maybe comparable
surprised.
to Indonesia.
On the record, I was not surprised.
Yeah, but I was also not surprised. I did believe in the rebuild era, and I think they did a good changes to the roster so that they would finally be motivated and actually not choke in the first stage of the tournament that was not qualifiers. So good showing on them. Also, really good match against Spain too. Just a lot of confidence. They knew what they were doing. The picks were nice. The strategy was there. But yeah, you gotta address the elephant in the room, and that is Italy. A lot of expectations were there for that Italian roster. They have basically came back from the depths of hell from last year. They did not qualify. This time they did with a pretty good seeding, but then they just flopped basically entirely on this entire group stage. And it must hurt them a lot mentally. And as Haba said, moving into the round of 16 match, Turkey is riding on a different wave, on the entire different wave. Turkey so dominant, Italy the opposite. So I think that may translate into their match in the bracket, but we'll talk about that later, obviously. But still, really, really sad there for Italy.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Dada?
Yeah, I mean, the timing of the matches and the upsets was funny because
Yes.
we went from is Chile a fraud? Is Spain like the truth? Into is France a fraud, and is Italy like an even further fraud? And then we were like, oh, actually, there's only one kind of fraudulent like team in this group, and it's sadly Italy. Like it really sucked to watch, but like I think they were the only team in any group to have 0 points for, which, I mean, it's just a mental killer. Like, you just go into round of 16 with 0 momentum. Even if you make it into round of 16, you're just limping. And then you have Turkey, which was one of the most decisively good teams in round of 16. Like, it's really, really dire in terms of mental for Italy. Spain was also like, they ended the first weekend of groups 2-0. So it was really, really interesting to be like, oh my god, is Spain gonna get out of this group? Oh my god, is Spain legit? Into like, actually, they losers versus France, and France just like, they got a decisive win versus Italy and got a like close-ish loss to versus Chile, so they make it out.
Yep.
Like, it was just not not really that good for Spain, sadly. Just going from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows to not even making the winners bracket was pretty pretty sad to see. But they did a good job. They obviously had a good showing. That just the upset versus Chile was really impressive. And then Chile looked a little bit shaky at the start, but they got there. And France, they definitely did stuff. They definitely played this group. They are one of the groups, one of the teams in this group
One of
that
the
made it
teams
out.
of the group.
What the hell, bro?
One way to say it.
Why do
What the hell, man?
fancy, man?
This guy hates
You, man?
France.
No,
No,
like
man.
if you saw the French matches, sometimes they would just have like funny misses.
They
just have
definitely had
very
some funny
funny
misses.
misses.
They definitely had some
I'll
funny
tell you-
misses.
Oh,
I tell you one thing, I question some of their picks against some of the teams pretty badly. Like I watched their match against Spain, and they were picking like maps that were like, why would you pick this into Spain when Spain are going to pick themselves? And that almost led to them getting like returned on, but they managed to like bring it back by like a hair, and that was like bugging me. That was like itching me with France. I was like, come on, man, like you guys are better than that. And they also had some team scores that were like, what is happening? Like you have a team with some of the best reading players in the whole continent, and you can't win on normal 4. That's so weird to me. I struggle with to understand that sometimes, but it paid off for them, thank God. I'm really glad that they did because I really do. I also believe in this rebuild era from France, and I'm happy that they just barely eked it out. I hope they can like iron things out into bracket. Spain is just an unfortunate like close deal because I feel like Chile, France, and Spain are like the big trio. Scary thing. This is going to be a really mean thing to say to beat on a dead horse, but when you are the only team in the contenders tier who have a worse average score than Hong Kong, a team who bottom out their group in the tier below them, you have to be a bit concerned. Like maybe really concerned. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know if some of their players just had a really rough weekend. I don't know if there was something else going on. They were missing a star player. But these guys have some of the best players in the only one who they were missing was Dem. Aside from Dem, they had their best players, from what I know. Like
There are circumstances. I can't speak on them,
Maybe.
but I've been told the circumstances. They are circumstancing. I will say that much.
God, I
I
really,
have
really
discovered
hope
a proof that these margins are too small to contain.
God, I really, really hope that those circumstances stop circumstancing and they actually lock in bracket stage because I am like
Real.
sadly shocked. And you know what's rough is that they're against Turkey, the one team that's going to be really good against their main skill set in Hard Rock. It's rough.
Shiba.
It's a even rougher start. Yes, yes, Dio. Yes.
I have something to inform you.
Yes.
Italy did not have a lower average score than Hong Kong. They did have a better average score by like less than 20k. It's about the same. You can still make the point.
Is it? Oh, it's the average percent max. Okay,
yeah, it's average percent max is what it's sorted by.
Still,
Spain.
Still bad.
Sorry, hold on. Spain actually did have a lower average team score than Hong Kong by like a couple hundred points, but they had a lower average team score than Hong Kong. Are we gonna say the same thing about Spain as we're saying about Italy here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna be a hypocrite there. No, you're right. That's
like Spain's the one with lower average team score than Hong Kong. So
but they didn't go 0-15, Dio. They didn't go 0-15.
They did not go 0-15, but I think the funniest part to me is that Italy somehow went 0-15 with a higher average score than Spain, who 5-0'd them.
I don't know how that happens. I got beats me. I don't know.
Like the scores from Italy were not that bad, all things considered.
Skill ceiling does go to Italy.
I will say
that. Italy... I think it's just a matter of like low rolls and high rolls. But yeah, sorry, Dada, go on.
No, I think the real matter is that Spain was picking into the quote unquote lowest or quote unquote hardest maps in the pool with the lowest average score.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Italy was picking a lot of DT, a lot of hard rock, and that was boosting up the percent max a little bit, or the average score a little bit, but not percent max. So it was a little bit boosted. Obviously, the results speak for themselves, but Spain also had a real like Jekyll and Hyde performance where it was just like, oh, well, the first weekend I'm the top of the world, and then the second weekend I'm actually like having the world's funniest bar fight versus France. And yeah, I mean, the less we can talk about this group, the better. I think like a lot of these teams would like to forget what happened. I think Chile's the only one who's like sort of okay.
They're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can at least be proud of the players from Chile, considering where you'd think losing Suntan and Matthew would really sting, but not the case. Their rookies seemed all right. That's one big plus you can put for Chile.
Okay.
Next group.
Last group into the final group of the challengers, Group D: Brazil, Philippines, Sweden, and Netherlands. Brazil on top. Brazil rep vindicated. However, like also kind of not really, because Philippines rep maybe more vindicated. Philippines upset Brazil, but then like there's this weird thing that happens where everyone beats everyone and then Brazil wins. Thoughts?
I don't know how Sweden beat Philippines and then lose to Netherlands.
Everyone beats everyone and Brazil wins.
I know how. It was very obvious how. Sweden versus Netherlands was the last match in this group, and as soon as Sweden lost 1 point, it was no longer anything to play for. I think, or like Sweden didn't have anything to play for to begin with. It was interesting. Like obviously they got an upset versus an upset bracket in quotes. Sorry, where they beat Philippines, but they had like a 4-1 advantage and they lost 2 points. So once that happened, they no longer had anything to play for versus Netherlands. So they kind of just like rolled over and were like, okay, Netherlands, like have fun getting your win. But yeah, like it was deceptively close between Philippines versus Sweden, more so than the results actually say. But I think it doesn't matter how it happened. Brazil got number 1, baby. Woo!
Vamos.
Brazil.
I do want to give a further shout out to the Philippines. They got the number 3 best average in the group stage statistics, but also they held that while getting 3 points against Sweden during a typhoon that they could not reschedule. Insane.
Yeah.
Wait,
Their
Sunday
match, a typhoon was hitting them as they were playing.
What?
Wait, you've
And
never
they
played
still
OC
got
during a
3
hurricane
against
before?
Sweden.
That's so giga chat
Fucking
of them.
lightweights.
What?
You've never played this game during a hurricane before? Get with it, bro.
Yeah, wake up, sheeple.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I've done that before. I haven't
Yeah,
played
you
OWC,
actually
but I have played OS during a hurricane before.
Oh my god. Didn't know they had that in Canada.
Florida.
Florida.
Back when I lived in Florida.
Moment. Yeah, you forget like before he reformed to Canadian, he was
Florida-
a Florida man.
yeah.
That was the time.
Florida is
Yeah.
in
Makes
many
sense.
ways the Philippines of the United States. So.
A little bit.
In his prime
Little
time,
bit.
he was fighting crocodiles and
the United States.
surviving hurricanes in prime time in his garden. He was chilling.
No, it is super cool though. I think the big thing is like, if you are, I don't know, their specific setups and everything, but if you are playing during that, there's always the fear of your power going out and maybe you need to start up a generator. Maybe you just have a generator going and your PC plugged into it anyway. All the rain and wind and storm surge to consider if you're on a ground floor, especially. So yeah, no, it's a lot else on the mind at the time. That's for sure. So shout out
Nathan
Philippines.
Ram was he was streaming like in preparation for the match, and he was giving like commentary updates like, oh, my curtains are blowing a little faster than they were a little while ago. Like, why are you being so casual about this, man?
He's too chill.
Just an average
Wow.
Tuesday or just something like that. I don't know.
me when the seawater gets up partially up the way of my car parked in the parking lot of my condo building.
No.
Holy
Yeah,
crap, man.
if your house floods, just like put your legs up and like just keep playing, bro. You ever seen the Southeast Asian like PC cafe during floods?
Yeah, just crisscross applesauce on the chair, bro.
I've seen that.
Just put their legs up, man.
This is another one where the seeding is determined by actual seed from qualifiers and not point difference, right? Brazil, Philippines were tied. If we went by head-to-head, Philippines would be seed 1 out of this group. If we go by qualifiers seeding, then Brazil is seed 1 out of the group. So this is another one where, maybe there's a little bit of contention there. I think there's arguments to be made for doing it this way versus doing it head-to-head, especially because we have like a qualifier round. That's the main difference for me between this tiebreaker for OWC versus this tiebreaker for other esports and actual sports, right? There's a little bit of a difference there in that we have a qualifier round, whereas other ones don't. Another big thing, we talked about Philippines getting number 3. Brazil and Sweden were also top 6 overall teams in the group stage. So 3 of the top 6 were all from the same group, and these teams were number 3, number 5, number 6 overall. And then Netherlands still managed to beat one of those teams. So, all pretty good teams. All pretty good teams in this group.
I'm just saying this one might be the toughest tiebreaker of them all, because on one side you get Germany, which is a team that has many potential ways into the match. They have a weakness a little bit in roster construction that they have to overcome. But on the other side, you get Poland.
Yeah.
Womp
Wow. XD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and I think if anybody else has anything to add, speak now or forever hold your peace, and then we'll move on to the predictions.
Trying to Cinderella run. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's move on to our first match prediction. The Netherlands versus Taiwan, starting in the losers bracket. This one 9 UTC Sunday. Why is it so early, bro?
Every match is so fucking early.
Every match is so early. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and start with this one. We'll just go down the line, left to right, and then maybe we can reverse order on the next one. I have Taiwan taking this in the tiebreaker. I have tiebreaker for Taiwan on the pick'ems here. I think a big thing for me is both of these teams are extremely good. I think Netherlands is a massive threat in this group stage, and I think this is just straight up one of the closest matches that we're going to have in the weekend. Netherlands, when I was looking at this match on Monday, I think just had slightly worse scores kind of head-to-head in some areas than Taiwan, and it's really toss-uppy. I get more of a vibe from Taiwan that they are going to repeat their top 24 performance than from Netherlands that they are going to return to the top 24 after not having been there for a little bit. And honestly, I think this match is close enough that whatever happens, I'm not really going to be surprised unless it's just super one-sided. That's, I think, the only way that I'm going to be really, really surprised, because there's a lot of ways that this match can just be super toss-uppy one way or the other.
I have a full-on gut prediction. I think obviously Taiwan did have a little bit better of a performance than the Netherlands, but also Netherlands had nothing to play for eventually, so the stats are a little bit skewed. I think we're gonna see a Netherlands victory about 5-3, maybe tiebreaker. But I would personally think that Netherlands scales a little bit better than Taiwan, as shown by qualifier rank and also just general roster construction. Meanwhile, Taiwan, I think they had a pretty good group stage performance. I think they can make it close and they can definitely upset. But I think, to me at least, Netherlands just have a little bit of an edge, and I'd say 5-3 is a good solid score to predict that edge.
Yeah, I concur. I think I also have it Netherlands around that score line. I think the scaling definitely plays a part. I think this Nomad pool is super Netherlands favored. I mean, this is a big tech and control team, and that Nomad 3, Nomad 4, Nomad 5 lineup, they're gonna be loving it. They love that lineup. I think Taiwan has to find the right picks here. I think it's going to be found in the Hard Rock and Double Time pool for them, but I could see them tripping up and maybe like picking a hidden 2 and running into a Netherlands wall for the single break point. So I have Netherlands up around 5-3 as well for this one.
Where's
I actually
Dio
have the
going?
opposite. I have 5-3 Taiwan on this one. I do agree with Hubba when it comes to the no mod pool being heavily Netherlands favored, but on the opposite side, I think Taiwan players like Gao Hao, other players from the Taiwan roster, I think they would enjoy this pool immensely, and I think that they will be able to surprise here. I initially, fun fact, I put them on my pick'ems as 5-1 just because of that momentum thing going from the groups, but 5-1 would be just insane for um Taiwan there. So I think I'm going to be a little more realistic, and I think this is going to be a 5-3 favoring Taiwan. This is going to be a really close one, but in case if it goes to a tiebreaker, I also think the tiebreaker should be favored more towards the Netherlands, if anything. So if Taiwan wins against Netherlands, they should be doing that without going to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same perspective as Leiden. I think Taiwan also have generally showed a bit of a bit stronger showing. And I think on top of that, the players who are a bit fresher for Taiwan have showed up a lot more than I would expect. And on top of that, I'm also biased because the name changes on this Netherlands team is making me want to pull my hair out.
Oh,
So
come on, they're funny.
even though my logical senses would still put Taiwan by a close margin, I'm still gonna say Taiwan win convincingly just because of the name changes. Because oh my goodness, these who is who? I don't know anyone here. I don't know who is who. I know like the name. I know who the Dutch people are. I don't even need to. This is worse than the Hyok collab because at least you had some way to track the numbers. This that you don't have anything here. Taiwan, I would say they would win in a similar fashion, probably 5-3. I also do agree. I think the tiebreaker is in favor of Netherlands, but I actually feel like the rookies showing up, and on top of that, the returning players who have generally stayed really consistent, plus Riser, who is going to be really strong on that higher ceiling, especially with the increased star rating of this pool coming up, is going to really help Taiwan in general just have a better main player stick out in that regard, especially when it comes to hard rock and free mod sticking about for them. So yeah, I'm going to say Taiwan 5-3, maybe even 5-2. I think ceiling is going to go a lot more in this team's favor.
Well, there you go. There's your screenshot for the one Netherlands player I see in chat right now. How's it going, Knight? And let's go ahead and clear everything out and move into our next matchup, which is Thailand versus Japan. Shiba, do you want to start us off for this one?
I don't know how to call this one. I can't lie. I think I definitely would favor Japan. I think the bigger question is how big of a margin is this going to be? The map pool is, I'd like to think, a little heavier against mechanics. I think there's a little bit less mechanics around, but I think that will not really make too big of a difference for either team from what I remember. I'm going to be brief with it just because I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly how this matchup will go. I do think this goes in favor of Japan. I think from group stage performances, they've shown they can stand out in head-to-head matches, and I also just think their rookies look a lot stronger than I was thinking, and YMD has also just been great alongside Rafuna, who has also done a great job for this team. And I think that's going to push them ahead, despite Thailand being honestly solid. They were a little disappointing in groups, despite still being up there. So I think Japan are going to stick out well for this. I'm going to say they take it like 5-2, probably.
Ooh,
Okay, Lighten.
5-2. Yeah, for me, basically, when it comes to this matchup, Thailand, I mean, they had to face off against both China and Norway in their groups. I mean, like, when you have to face off against them, you also showed a pretty good game against both, like, obviously not with Norway. I think Norway swept them. But that being said, Thailand still did pretty good when it comes to the scores, pretty good when it comes to the averages and etc. So with that being said, also as Shiba mentioned, the map pool does not have a lot of mechanics that Japan might be good at. And I think it's gonna make a difference. I have Thailand 5-3, but I would not be surprised if it was closer 5-4. And even then, if the tiebreaker happens, it should favor Thailand on paper. So I think I'm gonna lean towards Thailand here.
Yeah, I feel mostly similar. I have Thailand up, but the real question of this matchup is going to be if the like higher skill ceiling of this pool will affect Japan as much as I think it will. If they end up scaling decently, I think they can take this match. I think it's going to be close. I could see this really going to tiebreaker, but in my head, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of scaling issues for Japan leading up to this pool because of like there's a whole clearly some mechanical holes in Thailand's game that are going to be abused here. But if Thailand can make advantage of that skill cap, it will go their way. So I have Thailand up on tiebreaker here.
I also have Thailand 5-3. I think just in general, the more gimmicky side of the pool favors Thailand implicitly. I think Japan is way more of a mechanics heavy, like try to abuse you on straight like no bullshit maps. And as was said in feedback recently, I think there's less non bullshit maps this full than there might need to be for Japan to really exploit that. So I think Thailand just has a good time in most of the alt maps, most of like more gimmicky side of the pool. I think I'd be surprised if Japan doesn't ban them on 5, but I think them on 5 also favors Thailand. And yeah, I think it's just a overall solid win for Thailand. Japan can win, obviously. I think there is a pathway in, but I would generally favor Thailand in this situation.
I too have Thailand. I don't think it's that close. I think it's like 5-2 and maybe 5-1 in favor of Thailand. I think this matchup is a lot more one-sided than the stats give it credit for. And I say that because I remember like this is more of an eye test thing than a stats thing, and sometimes you just have to go by the eye test or a gut feeling for some of these teams. Anyone remember the first match between China and Thailand in Group A? And Thailand getting like 3.7 million on a Nomad pick and still losing, and getting like 3 million plus on almost every map and still losing like 5-1 or something. What do you do mentally after that, bro? Like you're just kind of sad, man. So I think after that, I think there's a little bit of like there's a little bit of a dip in performance after you get kind of a crushing defeat like that, because I mean I saw these players posting on social media like, what were we supposed to do against this team, which I kind of agree with, right? And I think they even after that were still like number 12 overall versus Japan's number 18 overall. Somehow, despite being the 0-3 team in their group, they were still like pretty solid in the grand scheme of things. So I think this team just has a very good time against Japan. I think the pool is also quite good for them, like Dada talked about. I think there's a lot of things that line up in their favor. And Thailand in recent history has just been the better team as well. Like, eye test for Thailand the last few years, they've been on the up and up, and pretty solidly top 24 the last 3 years in a row, really since Lisberry came onto the team. Whereas Japan has been a little bit of on a downward trend instead. So that also makes me favor this Thailand roster. And that will bring us into match number 3. Kind of a similar dynamic here in terms of upward versus downward trend with Italy versus Turkey. Dada, you want to start us off for this one?
I mean, I think everyone in this call should have Turkey. I think Turkey is by far the favorite, even if you just go off of like statistics, momentum. I think they had a really strong showing in group stage. I think they have overall better solo carry potential. Italy did not look that good. I think we talked about how Spain technically looked like worse but better in percent max or whatever. Like I don't really care about that. They looked in eye test not very good, and Turkey did. And like sometimes it's just about that. I think it's gonna be like 5-2 to Turkey. Uh, yeah, like there's not much to really like comment on.
As somebody who was the biggest Italy supporter in the prediction stream prior, I have Turkey up, and all I gotta say is I know the situation. I've seen the team sheet. Next.
Damn.
I got it on.
He sees the team sheet. All right. Yeah. First of all, Salam Turkey. All I gotta say, I think they're gonna free crown based on their profile collab picture. But yeah, the free crown is there. But yeah, Italy, I think they should be taking like about 2 points. But yeah, Turkey is the heart favorite here, and yeah, I think Turkey takes that.
I agree. I still love Turkey. I'm the same. I don't know. I think when you are a team that's just generally in really, really rough form, and one of your biggest skill sets is very exclusive and kind of iconic to your team, is also one of the strongest skill sets for a team who is in fantastic individual form, on top of the fact that their best player is probably one of the best in the world, if not definitely the best in Europe at that skill set. So in Hard Rock, not having that be around as much as opponents' skill set fidelity to abuse when they're in such unfortunate form and things are not going right for them is just going to sting even harder. Do I think Italy have the potential to bring it back and put up a fight? Yes, but if you are a betting man and if you wanted to be safe based on the information that you have, assuming that not much is going to change from then on, I'd say it would be silly not to count Turkey in as most likely the favorite in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm also just gonna get it over with and say I have Turkey in this, and for pretty much all of the mentioned reasons so far. I will also say I think we'll probably add in one more losers bracket match at the end here. We're going to move on for now to Kazakhstan versus Indonesia, rather Indonesia versus Kazakhstan. Indonesia coming from the winners bracket, or rather from the challengers, Kazakhstan from the contenders. Hubba, do you want to start us off for this one, please?
Yeah, I can start us off here. I have Kazakhstan up in this matchup. I think Kaz looked really, really strong in those in that group stage. And not just because of the competition, but also just performance-wise, they really come together as a unit. Shuma, Zero Ice, and Revexi, that core, alongside Turnifus for the non-mechanics maps, is just like really hard to get past. And Indonesia, while they do have skill cap advantage, I think they don't have momentum advantage, and that may be very important as we start to see group stage come through. So and I have Kazakhstan up, which may be a little bit dicey. I see it being a close match. I see it being like tiebreaker 5-3, 5-4. But yeah, I've got Kaz up.
All right, I think I'm next on the line. I mean, you can already see by my actions here who I'm gonna pick. I don't think there's like anything I should say. The only thing that I kind of want to say, I told a few players, if you're not gonna put your locals into the spreadsheet, I'm gonna call you out on stream. I'm not gonna do that, but still, those two players play the map pool. God damn it! Like, what are you
Oh my
doing, guys?
Look, you're not helping the case, bro. We're not helping the case right now.
You're gonna make me switch up. Wait a minute.
Like,
Wait a minute.
They had like all these days, bro. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, play? Like, I see one player in the chat. Like, I mean, he did play, I think, but still, nonetheless, I'm not gonna say anything
play
else.
the map pool. Oh my god, like
play the map pool.
God, yeah. All right, yeah. It's a little difficult, I'd say, to call. I know one team looks better in form than the other. I don't believe it's going to change. I think Kazakhstan are more likely to take it, but I don't think you would be silly in calling Indonesia as potential team to win this. I think it comes very close, and it very much depends on particular clashes with both these teams, especially when it comes to mechanical skill sets. I think this is going to be a really close matchup. But I'll definitely safely say Kazakhstan, but I'm not going to say it's a big stomp. I think it could be 5-3, maybe even the tiebreaker. But even if it goes to tiebreaker, there's a good chance Indo could take it. But if not, I definitely say Kazakhstan are the favorites in this one.
I got to do it to him. I got Indonesia in the pick'ems.
Here's how Indonesia can win.
Here's how I got Indonesia in the pick'ems, bro. I don't even have to. Here's how they can win. I got them in the pick'ems.
Here's how they will win.
Here's how they will win. I think like for all the shit that we give Indonesia, I think they're still the better team in this match. Like I do think this is going to be close. I have 5-3 in the pick'ems for Indonesia. One of the things that I looked at when I think doing pick'ems is generally Indonesia slightly better on Hard Rock, kind of a little bit better on some of your basic mechanics. There's not as much of that in this pool, but I think those basic mechanics should carry over pretty well for them because they're not strictly mechanics players, right? This roster of like players like Styx, Mindfrost, that noob guy, right? None of these guys are just basic mechanics players, right? They're all pretty well seasoned tournament players. They all know what they're doing on a lot of those maps. And you go back to qualifiers as well as we get into higher star rating pools, right? And a lot of the more multi-skill set or less straightforward maps were good for Indonesia in that qualifiers pool as well. So I think I think it's going to be close because you can compare, for example, DT2 in qualifiers. Kazakhstan was better both times. DT1 in qualifiers, it was kind of coin flippy. They were both beating each other on that map. Nomad 2 in group stage, Indonesia was better, right? So there's conflicting data, and I think things should be close, but I get a feeling for the more well-rounded Indonesia roster to pull up in this early stage where they will not be affected by the scaling menace of Kamenchik, who, like, real talk, a lot of this roster for Kazakhstan revolves around.
You gave them hope. You think they're going to win, and now they're going to disappoint you, Dio. You've done it.
No.
You've
Look, if it happens again,
No.
set yourself up for
what are you
failure.
gonna do?
This is what you did with France, and what happened
No.
last time?
Oh, no.
Hey, man,
You've
what
done
happened
it
this
to them. They're
time?
gonna lose now.
What happened
They've
this
lost
time?
now because you gave them hope.
What happened this time,
I'm
Shiba?
gonna-
France got out of the group
I'm
in
gonna
second place.
paraphrase. I'm gonna paraphrase former U.S. President George W. Bush. There's a saying in Tennessee that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." Right? Famous George Bush quote.
That's a
Like
not it, but okay.
Oh my god.
That's literally it. That's literally it.
Donna.
But
You know,
like, like, bro, like I've been hurt too much. I've been hurt too much into it. Like, at one point, I gotta stop putting my hand on the stove. I think that now is the time. So
I get
like,
it. I get it.
I
you know the vibe
understand.
that
Like I understand.
You're probably favored. You're probably favored in the pool. I think the pool, like, the evolution from group stage to round 16 favors you. But like, no, man, no. Like you're not doing things. You're every time you think you're doing something, you're not doing anything. Like Indonesia might be the sole reason why I think qualifiers is like a potentially bad format. Like every year, man. It's not right. It's not fair. Kazakhstan 5-3.
All right.
No, guys, this is harder in general. You're literally the guy on the news show who's like, you feed a man fish and you feed him for a day. You teach no, whatever, bro. Whatever.
Fish for lifetime.
It's literally the fish guy. Literally the fish guy. Oh, like
Fish in the chat. Fish in the chat.
That killed me.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh my God.
Hold on. I have to move some things and resize some flags for this next one because this is an on the fly ad here. But we're gonna move on in like just a second. I swear. Don't worry about it, guys. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Wait, one more. Okay, we're good. Let's move on to the next match. Impromptu ad of Spain versus Argentina. Because I think this match is a lot closer than people are going to give it credit for. And I know this is kind of a last second thing, but I wanted to shout out this match because of just how close a lot of the scores are in the statistics from group stage. If you look at how close the scores were between these two teams, this match looking like a toss-up, guys. This is like actually kind of a coin flip match for me. I do have Spain, but I got Spain in tiebreaker. I feel like this is one where we could genuinely see a seeding upset. I think there's one map in group stage where either team has like a decisive advantage, like all of their plays are better than all of the other teams' plays, and there's like more than one play per team. And that was DT2 for Argentina. That's it. Every other map is just complete mixed bag coin flip. So this match is like really, really interesting between these two teams for me. And I think is going to be emblematic of like how hard this pool scales and how much better either of these teams can handle the like non-mechanic stuff. Where did I put my Spain flag? There we go. Okay. Put that there for now. But I do think that there is a world where Argentina just wins this in tiebreaker. On the record.
I don't know if it's as close as you think it is. I think.
I don't know. I mean, I did put it close. I do agree with Dio, but
I like that.
honestly,
Knuckles and Sonic Boom.
I
don't know.
have Spain 5-2. I think it's going to be fairly decisive. I don't think Argentina benefits from the pool scaling that much.
I'm on a similar boat where I just feel like Spain scale way better. I think group stage was a much easier pool where you could have a bit more flexibility for those players. But I think Spain, especially with the pool they have a lot of really, really solid players. And I also think tiebreaker is pretty favored for Spain here as well. I wouldn't say it's going to be a big stump, and I don't think it's silly to completely to have faith in Argentina putting up an upset. I just feel like the scaling for the Spanish team is a lot stronger, and sure, Argentina may be able to do well on some of the more conventional, comfortable maps in general. But when those maps are thinned down after Argentina win 2, maybe even 3, if they pull up 1 breakpoint at the start, I think that's going to run down, and Spain are going to be able to finish it off with the rest being pretty convincing for them. So I'd pretty comfortably say Spain. I don't know if Dada had something to finish or not. Were you going to finish, Dada? Did I just completely?
No, I just sneezed. I just sneezed at
Okay.
I was done.
Bless you.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
How about, are we going Argentina, or are you
Low-key?
getting Spain as well?
I have Argentina. Low-key.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay. No, good,
Low-key
good.
on this
Lion's
pool.
gonna have to be the tiebreaker. Lion's the
Yeah,
tiebreaker.
I have Argentina here. I think as a unit they kind of do better on the non-mechanic stuff than Spain does, which leans into this pool. And that's not to even say that Argentina is bad at the mechanics. The mechanics picks are close between these two teams. It's just a question of Argentina consistency issues. If they don't show up on the day, they're cooked. But if they show up on the day, they win a lot of places in comparison to Spain. So I got Argentina up.
Yeah,
Alright, Layden.
the overlaps in skill set, they hurt both of these teams. And I think when it comes to, personally, I think it's going to be really, really close. I would not be surprised to see 5-4. But as Shiba has mentioned, as much as I would love to put Argentina, I think I'm going to give it to Spain just because the tiebreaker, I think Spain should be doing better on. But Argentina, you can definitely do it, and you can definitely take it. And if you do that, then that's a W.
Okay.
Viva
So,
España! Viva!
we agree it's going to be close, but still favored towards Spain. And now let's move into the winners bracket, where guys, is this supposed to be an upset match, or is this just like China being better? I don't know. This is
China better.
Yeah.
China better.
I don't know. My opinion. Insert Family Guy clip. I don't know. I just didn't expect it to be Chinese. I think they're just good. I think they there's a couple of things that make me put China here. First, they have 3 extra matches worth of practice from the group stage. Second, they in general had a slightly better team this year. They qualified 13th last year. They qualified 9th this year. Russia, meanwhile, qualified 4th last year and 8th this year. So there is a drop off there for Russia and an improvement for China. And then this also went to tiebreaker last year in round of 16. So I think if you combine all of that at the same time, it really, really makes me favor China.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think I'm gonna be next here. I'm supposed to be the Russia Glazer probably, but I am gonna be surprising all of you guys and putting China in as well. I think on paper, if you have this star rating in place and you have the consistency, I think China beats Russia 9 out of 10 times. And also, you got to consider that both of these teams, they played the tiebreaker in round of 16 last year too, and that was extremely close. They went 5-4, and Russia barely squeezed out with a better roster. This time, obviously, they have Vlados. Vlados is definitely a really good player to look at. He does kind of synergize with the team better, but also at the same time, you got a few other players that may not. Well, I mean, they fit. They are good. They're nice, but still, it's a lot weaker than they were last year, especially with the absence of Shikoni. But that being said, I think China as a team should be doing good. I personally have China 5-3, and I would love to see
Same.
Russia to squeeze a win out here. But yeah, that's China 5-3. They are just on a roll, especially at the low SR, especially at this type of the map pool too.
Am I next?
Okay, go ahead, Chiba.
No, you can go. It's okay.
Okay, does anybody here have Russia? Let's get it out of the way.
Elephant in the
Does
room.
anyone here have Russia?
No? Okay.
Shiba? No? Okay. I also have China. So we're gonna have 5 Chinese flags. This post is proudly sponsored by the Chinese Communist Party.
This post is proudly sponsored by Chairman Mao. And
Full
we put them all
get
up.
plus 600 social credit.
Russia is a scaling team. China is a team that caps off a little bit earlier. I think they have a better peak right now. I think they're a more consistent performance, and I think that just in general this poll favors them. So there's nothing that indicates that Russia is gonna take this unless China really has a bad day or Russia has some god mode. I think it would be, again, as Dio said, 5-2, 5-3, pretty safe score to me.
I mean, in my mind, I think one of the biggest reasons why Russia ended up being able to overtake China last year was partly because of Chikoni, and Chikoni unfortunately got banned from gambling. Rest in peace, Chikoni. And
I mean, he didn't.
with that, no,
No, I mean he did, but I'm talking about the fact.
I mean,
that
that's
he's
not why
on the
he's
roster.
not
Like,
playing the
that's a whole
tournament.
different
That's
thing. Yeah, he was a
a whole
playtester,
different
but
thing, bro.
Whatever.
that's the team nerf. That's not him not being on the team. That's the nerf.
No.
Chikoni not only is not playing, but he also got removed because
Yeah,
he
I'm
just
just
got
rubbing it
gambling.
in, bro. Just rubbing it
Yeah, just rubbing it in.
So yeah, I think
in. Full circle. Now sponsored by DraftKings. Thank you, DraftKings.
Oh my god.
Bro, no.
But yeah, you gotta you gotta mention a few things about the Russian team. I think if anything, if there is a win condition for Russia to win, you gotta look at the players like Walter, Gamer, you gotta look at Ice Shark, also known as Maxim, and also Vlados. I think these 4 players are probably the key for this victory, but I think I'm still gonna prefer China. But yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I think just China I feel like having the loss of such a strong player that can basically turn 2 of your main skill sets that you'd usually want to abuse anyway into a guaranteed win on most teams, except for the ones that are ultra specialized in the absolute top of the tournament, end up shutting you down a lot more options, especially this early in the pool, where China have a good enough skill floor that they can dominate at a consistent level. So that's that's where I'm favoring China. I'm sure everyone thinks the same way.
And that is going to do it for that match for us. We are going to move on to our second to last matchup to predict. UK versus New Zealand. Qualifier seed. Don't let it fool you on this one. New Zealand were the top seed out of their group. That said, they're still facing off against the UK, who were top 6 last year and return with a pretty good roster again this year. Sheba, do you want to get the juice out of the way at the start or at the end?
I don't mind. I don't mind. What would you prefer?
Let's get it out. Let's get the juice on at the start, and then the rest of us can go. Let's do the reverse order.
I mean, is it really that difficult of a choice? I think it's clearly UK. It's not to say New Zealand will be particularly weak. I just feel like if there's one team where an increase in star rating compared to group stage will be even more usable, despite it still being pretty low, UK will be one of those main teams. It's hard to exactly tell how well they do in match when it comes to consistency. But Skia changed his name to Neutral Grape, and I think that's such a banger name collab that I'm going to give that a buff. And so that's an extra bonus for me. I think New Zealand do have a good chance at getting 1 or 2 upset picks purely courtesy of Kyujin being the big standout player, and MLBus as well potentially sticking out one really good match. If they have a good duo map together, they could pull something off against UK, especially with sometimes how rocky UK can look. But we haven't seen them play in match yet, and I think on paper it would be foolish. It would be foolish to not say UK are the favorites by a good margin in this matchup, I'd say.
Yeah. Whilst I do agree that UK are the favorites, I still think that New Zealand do have a bite. If you look at their qualifier seedings, that you look at their qualifier results, their Hard Rocks, they look so good. I think if you take a look at also a few other maps, a few other skill sets, then I think they might give UK the run for their money. That being said, as much as I would love to glaze New Zealand, I'm still gonna give the W to the UK. I have them about 5-2, 5-3 on my pick'ems, 5-2 to be exact. So yeah, this is the UK run here.
Tiebreaker? I think.
No.
I think
Badass,
so.
really?
I think so. I think this is going to be a really close match. But this pool is not doing New Zealand any favors. There's no pure stream map in this pool. There's barely any like flow aim above 180 BPM. Like it, and that's where New Zealand really thrives. I think they win the Hard Rocks. I think they maybe do pretty well on one of the double times. Like I see DT3 going New Zealand's way. I see them picking free mods. I see this being the tiebreaker. I think the real question is like how this kind of inactivity period in between group stage is going to affect UK, because I know that was one of the teams that was like kind of bothered by it. But I mean, this is a really close matchup. I have UK up, but because it's hard to not have UK up. Top 4, or was it top 5 last year? And then I have them like number.
Well, basically top 4, but you know, whatever. We'll
whatever. We'll let it slide.
Whatever. We won't talk about that.
But yeah, UK up because I have them in 4th as overall this year. So I mean, to have that, they have to unfortunately beat my favorite team in this tournament.
Y'all, I was so close. I was so close to putting New Zealand. Like on my pick'ems, I did them 3 days ago. I was so close to putting New Zealand. Shut up, Homer. Also, it's just like it's the initial reactions for the poll from the UK and the overall momentum that New Zealand carries that made me like really, really like want to put New Zealand. But then I sat on it. I pondered. I thought, and then it can't be New Zealand. Like it can't be New Zealand. It's 5-3 UK. It's gonna be closer than it probably should be considering seat difference, but like it's not like there's a way, there is a path, there's a line here for New Zealand. Let's just say that much.
And here's how New Zealand can still win.
come
Now,
on,
I actually have the UK in the pick'ems, but
I was about to
just-
think.
just for the screenshot, I'll put New Zealand on full circle here, just for some spice. I genuinely think UK just wins this. Like I think they're the better team. I think they'll be fine in this matchup. But kind of like Dada here. I think the inactivity period for the top 8 teams, it's like I don't know if it's going to be a problem or not. There's a lot of veterans on this team. There's not too many that are going to have trouble with a 2-week break like this, right? I know Bubbleman is not going to have any trouble with it. Players like Malteser, Mahmood, Skia, Alicia play tournaments all the time. Rudge is pretty active in tournaments. I think if anything, it's like Plasma and Akalibed who don't play tournaments as much as the rest of this roster, but it's not like it's a huge deal for them because all of these teams in the top 8 have a ton of tournament veterans, right? So I don't think that matters all that much. I think New Zealand just have to get lucky and get a bad day for UK, a good day for them, pick well into the Hard Rocks, the free mods, maybe a good DT map for them, and that's kind of the line for them to win this. Unfortunately for New Zealand, I think the pool works against them. I think the matchup works against them because the UK have both really good all-rounders to match the 4 players from New Zealand who play almost every single map for them. And they also just have like better specialists on this roster. So I think like overwhelmingly this is favored towards the UK, and I think that UK is just going to win this, but the line for New Zealand does exist there, right? So I think there is a world where they can win this. Don't know if it's going to be this world, but you know, a 1 in 5 chance. 1 in 5 chance.
Honestly, who the fuck cares? We have to go against USA after this. Like
that's true. May as well lose right now anyway.
What's the point? Like why?
Let New Zealand do it.
Why is our bracket so unfair? Why are we against USA round 2? This sucks, bro. This sucks. I hate it here.
Why, if we keep winning, do we have to face teams that are better?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Man? That's what I'm saying. Why can't we just go against bad teams until we're top 4?
Exactly.
Canada, sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
And you're getting eliminated by Canada this year. Get fucked, idiot. We're seed 4 this year. How about that? How about the Mapples? On to our last actual prediction matchup is South Korea versus Chile. I'm sorry, Chile. I'm sorry, Chile. Yeah, that's really all I got here. South Korea is not like the monolith that they were last year, but they're still a pretty damn good team. They're definitely not like the same kind of, you know, win contender and top 3 contender that we've kind of expected from them the last few years, but looking at the scores between these teams, there's just such an immense drop off in qualifiers between top 8, top 6 especially, and everyone else, that it's really hard not to favor South Korea, especially on a pool like this. I started looking more and more at the pool for this matchup and realized, like, okay, Nope, KJK, sorry, Flying Tuna, Amamiya Kokoro, Alagarissimo are going to just wreck house on this pool because I think the multi-skill set maps just favor them so immensely. Versus a team like Chile, just because they can be so consistent at them all the time. So, yeah, I just have South Korea.
I also have South Korea. It's important to note that I think Chile wins every tapping pick. The problem is, out of Nomachu, DT1, DT2, they're going to get 1 banned against them. And, like, that's it. Like, you got your picks. Have fun. Like, thank you for playing. Goodbye.
Yeah,
South Korea should be favored on everything else.
They're gonna die. It's over.
Man.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic what they do to these Chileans in the round of 16 pool. 2 points if they're lucky.
Guys, you're kind of ruthless. Like I have
That is
South
ruthless.
Korea 5-2 as well.
That is
I have
cruel.
South Korea 5-2 as well. But like, come on, you gotta glaze Chile a little bit. You gotta give them the motivation, or unless you want to apologize on Twitter later on. But nonetheless, I think Chile, as Dada mentioned, they can take the tapping picks, and that's good for them. Shout outs to Alfie and Lasse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Doomer as well. I don't think I have anything else to say. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, okay. I'll people will say, "Oh, guys, give some positive to Chile." Dada said they're gonna win tapping maps. Do they? Do they actually? Guys, flying tuna on non-grand finals tapping is pretty insane. You've got Karcha, My Keyboard, who's a tapping player, and then you have either Suyong or Parisia. So even on tapping,
Parisia
Chile
for
are
that.
probably cooked in round of 16 pool.
Shiba, I
Unless
looked
they,
at their
like,
I looked at their
triple XP.
qualifier tapping scores. This is not looking that good. I think Chile
But
can do that and probably will.
Counterpoint,
But,
qualifiers is meant to mimic quarterfinals, and this is round of 16. That's my counterpoint.
counterpoint,
It's-
you smell.
Counterpoint, you're right, but I'm too base to care, which means your point doesn't matter. Yeah, I think okay. Even with that, even with the tapping thing, to like be real, even with the tapping advantage that Chile do probably have generally overall, I think it just doesn't help the fact that this pool is massively favored for Korea regardless. Dio said at the very beginning, like the amount of multi-skill set maps in this pool is really, really high, and Korea are one of those teams that just absolutely thrive on any maps that have any kind of complexity with skill sets that doesn't involve sheer mechanics. And it's not like losing their three best players, who are also the three best players in the tournament, will change anything. They still have some of the best players in the tournament here that are going to super carry a majority of the pool for the next few stages, and this one is not going to be an exception. I don't think Chile will be able to do much. Maybe one or two upset picks on double time or mechanics, but even then, it's tenuous. I'd say at best 5-2 for Korea.
I think the big thing for me in this match, just to kind of cap this off, is like if Chile don't want to pick speed mechanics, they usually pick like hidden, which is a pretty terrible option into South Korea. Even without the players they had last year that made them the best hidden team in the world, they're still pretty good at it. It's early stage enough that the mechanics picks are not a lock for them. They're probably favored a little bit, but even then, looking at the qualifiers, like Nomad 2 from qualifiers as a stream map was toss-up for both of them. Hard Rock 1 as a flame map in qualifiers was toss-up for both of them, but slightly favored South Korea. DT1 in qualifiers was toss-up for both, but favored South Korea. DT2 in qualifiers was toss-up for both. Like there's no hard favor for Chile on these maps. So I think they have to kind of similarly get a bad day for South Korea and get a good day for consistency on a lot of their own picks in order to win this match, which is just it's just a tough ask. So yeah, that's it. That's it for now.
They could do something on free mod. Number 37 and intercabbing on both the mods. I don't know. I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to do something.
Here's how Chile can still win.
Here's how Chile
Take out
can
my marker
still
and start
win.
writing on the whiteboard.
Just writing all over the walls.
As we come to the end of the stream, I'm just going to very quickly show off the full bracket because we are not going to predict every matchup. Here is our losers bracket in OWC this year. Matchups that we predicted, of course, Netherlands versus Taiwan, Thailand versus Japan, Italy versus Turkey, Spain versus Argentina, Indonesia versus Kazakhstan, but there's still some other losers bracket matches this weekend in Austria, Singapore, Sweden, Malaysia, and Finland, Peru. Also some other winners bracket matches this weekend coming up in Poland versus Philippines, Canada versus Norway, Germany versus Brazil, USA, France, and Australia versus Romania. So yeah, a bunch of different matches still happening this coming weekend. We're not going to predict all of them. Go to the OWC wiki for the schedule and the information sheet and all that. Thanks everyone for watching, and good luck to everyone in the losers bracket and round of 16 this coming weekend. We'll see you tomorrow for those first matches. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Go
What's this
cat.
cat breakdown?